Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back to the Friends in the Wild podcast. This is, as you can see, a very special episode. As we say every single episode, but this time it's particularly true. As you can see, we have two people actually joining us today. One of which is in person, and one of which is hopefully... Right now, she's definitely on your screen. But hopefully, if all goes well, she'll be somewhere floating on your screen, okay? And if she isn't, completely ignore that I said that, okay? We never wanted her to be on the screen.
Who is she?
Anyway. So, joining us today...
Am I just like the funniest person alive? What's going on? I'm so confused.
Now you have two people to laugh at your jokes instead of just one.
Three.
So-
You better be laughing. I'm talking to. Oh.
So, joining us today are my two roommates.
Woo!
Hey
So
everyone.
we have Carragan joining us in person in the studio, and we have Jana joining us from Middle Tennessee. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and turn the floor over to Carragan first, and then Jana, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hello, Friends in the Wild podcast listeners. This is so exciting. I am an avid listener. I listen on my way to work every Friday, so I'm very excited to be here. Very thankful for these two co-hosts to be hosting us. I am a recent graduate, as Laura Grace and Mally are as well, and so I'm currently working in Nashville at the state capitol. Very honored to serve the state of Tennessee.
Thank you for your
We
service.
salute you.
Appreciate that. And I'm just doing that full time. I graduated with a degree in agricultural leadership, education, and communication. And so similar to Laura Grace, I have plans of attending law school in a couple years after I work in the workforce. So
I need to interject. I, as you know, the best friend in the wild, attended their graduation ceremony.
True.
she did.
Kerrigan literally had, first of all, so many recognitions. I was stunned, shocked,
Carragan's name
unbelievable.
was mentioned every 5 minutes. Her
Literally.
graduation.
And then she gave a speech,
So
you know,
annoying.
because she was nominated by her class to give a speech.
Yes.
And this is the first time I'm telling this, but I had tears in my eyes. You did so good.
And it wasn't even a sentimental speech. I think she just, loves you so much.
Yeah, I was slightly sleep deprived, but mostly because I love you.
Mostly
I was
because
just
she
so
was-
proud of you.
I would have loved to give you my toilet paper that I had in my
Oh my
hand.
gosh, it was
Yeah.
perfect. She
So-
did have toilet paper in her hand.
I did. Spoiler.
Kerrigan was our commencement speaker. That's why I wasn't. Speaker. And she did an amazing job, and Kerrigan's just, kind of the best ever. And also, I do have to say,
Jana's feeling very down in the dumps right now.
we're
First of all,
going
we're
to
not
get to
letting her
Jana.
speak. Second of all, we're gassing Kerrigan so high she's
Kerrigan-
to fly away.
Carragan was also the torchbearer, one of the 7 torchbearers from our senior class at UT. So she's just kind of epic. That's the highest honor that they give out at the University of Tennessee, which we'll also get to in a little bit. But, yeah, she's just kind of epic. And now we'll move on to Jana. And then there's Jana. We're just
I think I'm
kidding.
going to leave now, actually, because that was enough for me.
Hi, friends in the wild. I'm so excited to be on my debut on the episode. Can you hear me? Is it good?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I'm also a recent graduate at the University of Tennessee. I graduated with a degree in animal science, and I'm currently home for the summer. Just kind of chilling. I've been working at a little boutique in my hometown. And then in about a month, I will move to Lubbock, Texas, and start pursuing my master's in agriculture communications at Texas Tech. Not to be confused with Texas A&M, who we just beat last night. Go Vols. Vols baseball is now the national champions. So
Woohoo! Yeah.
I was watching the game yesterday. I just had a new baby cousin born, and so me and my cousins were watching it at the hospital on our phones. We were celebrating.
As any Vols fan does. We will be at weddings during fall. People have the Tennessee game on their phones. It doesn't matter what the significant event you're at. The Tennessee game will be on someone's phone.
My cousin is getting married in October, And my brothers are all so mad at him because he scheduled it on a weekend that Tennessee is playing at home. So,
Yeah.
I'm not sure why he did that, but.
Okay, now we're gonna gas Jana up. First of all, Jana, all the time, I would come to see them, at their apartment because I wanted to be their roommate and they just wouldn't let me. They said I literally wasn't allowed to live with them. She was gone all the time because she shows cattle all the time. She's literally on a judging team for UT, right?
Mm-hmm. Livestock judging team.
They are superb. They win them all,
They win every competition.
Like, baseball just won the national champion. She's been there.
Yeah.
She's the national champion cow judger.
Cow judger, yeah.
Cow and sheep and goats.
Oh my gosh.
And pigs.
Yeah.
Plethora of farm
Livestock.
animals.
Yeah.
So I really miss seeing her all the time, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then going to Texas Tech, which also, as a Tennessee Tech grad, whenever I would type in TTU on my Google search, it always pulled up Texas Tech. So I really just it's a little bit of beef.
Yeah.
But I'm so
That's a
proud
lot.
of her. And that big of a move, I'm really excited for Jana, and I'm very grateful that I've got to know her.
Oh my gosh.
Stop.
Bring up.
Now we're crying in real life.
Yes. Where's the toilet paper?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, so let's talk about the baseball game for just 1 second before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Before the baseball game, we have to talk about our couch that we're sitting on.
Guys, do we look weird? Be honest.
I'm showing it to Jana.
We're gonna need some feedback.
We got a couch, and thankfully we survived the situation.
We have to talk
I
about
thought
this.
we already talked about it.
No, we didn't. We just got the couch last week. Have we talked about the couch?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so Largrace found this couch on Facebook Marketplace. We thought it was an absolute score. Okay, but it's 8 o'clock at night, hour and a half away. So we recruit my mother to go with us because, what can't 3 women do? Because we had to have a chaperone, obviously. So we go. We're in the boonies. And it's just looking questionable from the beginning. We're worried. We pull in. First of all, we took a 4Runner. We didn't even take a truck or a trailer.
Okay.
So the thing that barely fits in the car. And, we're sweating, struggling. It's just freaky where we're at. And so, illegally, we have to put the back seat down and someone's going to have to ride on the floorboard. But instead of just, letting that slide, the man that we bought this off said that when he realized we didn't have enough seats, he said, "Oh, looks like one of y'all are going to have to stay here." Yeah. My mom went, "Get in the car." So we ran.
For that.
And I sat in the floorboard, most uncomfortable ride of my life, but it was worth it.
It's worth it for this
The
couch.
couch, it had a stench, still does sometimes, but we've cleaned it. It's cleaned, it's shaved. Shaven?
Yeah. It's cleanly shaven.
Yeah, freshly shaved. So, yeah. Just tell us what you
Nothing
think.
a little Febreze can't fix.
Exactly.
The purple really fits y'all's vibe. I think this is spectacular for the friends in the
We've
wild.
kind of decided that our vibe is pink and purple. We were kind of leaning back and forth between pink and blue and pastels, but I think we've always been pink and purple.
Always.
Girls. I've been pink and you've been purple.
Yeah, but we can change.
We
can
can.
switch out.
We can. You're wearing pink.
I'm wearing pink.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry.
So moving on, we do need to talk just a little bit about the baseball game. I personally was not particularly invested until we made it to the College World Series, but I know that you guys kind of were.
Mhm.
So just talk a little bit about how special our team is this year and how great it is to be a Tennessee Ball.
Absolutely. Anytime that we can
Sports
say we are an everything school, the University of Tennessee will. So it started out fairly normal. Tony Vitello is our head coach, and he has
so
done
cute.
a great job building up the program.
And he's also
A 10.
so cutie.
On and off the field.
Very good point. Very good point to add.
I thought they did.
So we started out great, and then whenever we got to tournament time, everyone was like, okay, are we actually going to do this? Are we actually going to make it? And the SEC tournament came around. We did that. We did that thing. And then College World Series time came around, and we were undefeated during the College World Series, and we were number 1. And everyone was like, there's the superstition that the number 1 seed will never win. They called it the curse.
Yeah.
Which, if you know anything about the Tennessee Volunteers, we don't mess around with curses.
No. Not stepping on that ceiling.
We're not superstitious, but we are a little stitious.
A little stitious. So, we went in. We lost the first of the 3 games against Texas A&M in the final game. Winner takes all in the 3 games. And then the second game, we came and we won. So then it took us to the 3rd and final game, all or nothing. And we won. It was glorious.
It was electric.
We took it.
No, it was actually so electric.
It really was such a great... I watched game 1 and game 3, and I was just dazzled by our baseball team. And I love baseball. It's my favorite of the sports to watch. So, and also, not to make this all about me, except it is my podcast.
It's all about you. We're here for you.
The soul on.
My brothers have been really into wiffle ball recently, and I was pitching the other day, and I discovered I'm kind of like an excellent pitcher. I was throwing sliders, I was throwing curveballs. I actually don't know if a slider and a curveball is the same thing, but I don't think they are, and I think I was throwing both of them. And I was also batting, and I gotta say, like, kind of, like, good. So I just needed to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're just kind of good, not real good.
Just kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will have to agree. Definitely a very exciting time. I had a fellow friend in the wild who is an Alabama fan. I'm sorry to cuss
immediately
on the
not
podcast.
friends.
But y'all can bleep that out later, you know. But she said, go Vols, because we have attractive players. So.
And you know what? That's a win.
Carragan and Jana, please share who your favorite player is each.
Oh, this is so hard. I'm going to have to say Hunter Inslee is personally a fan favorite of mine just because he has such excitement in everything that he does. And he's not like one of the typical favorites, I guess. Like normal people just like pick out the guys that like have the best stats or have the best whatever, but I think he has the best attitude. Yeah, no, he has the best attitude and he's also really pretty.
Yeah.
But like he has a heart behind him, you know?
We love that. We love some heart.
Mm-hmm.
Jana?
My favorite is Kirby, the one with the handlebar mustache. I love his facial hair, the shag, the dad bod. Yeah. I just think he's got it going on.
You're just into it, and I like that. Yeah. He's kind of a celebrity because he stands out so much.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm glad that we just had that little sports corner over here and maybe like a killing fly.
I definitely just caught that in my hand.
Maybe like a murder corner.
I hope the guys really resonate with this part of the podcast. You know, like this is a podcast for everyone, not just females, but males as well.
UT is an everything school. We are an everything podcast.
Exactly.
Education, finance, lifestyle, sports. We really are the whole package.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Lucky for you all. Lucky.
It's like we can do everything from like wildlife, agriculture, pop culture. I mean, it's like, is there any stone we're leaving unturned? There's literally not.
No, every stone has been turned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
and that's the end, guys.
I keep forgetting to give the microphone to me or you. Anyway, so now we're going to move on to mine and Jana and Carragan's relationship. And sort of like the timeline of everything.
Breaking up.
Say it again.
We're breaking up. Clickbait. Roommates. Break up.
Roommate fight. Clickbait.
Roommate horror stories.
So, as you have noticed probably, we are all ag majors. Well, we all have agriculture degrees now, which is crazy. But we originated in 4-H, and that's kind of, well, and FFA, but we met through 4-H. And that is kind of where we got our start in both agriculture and this friendship. So, me and Carragan were both Eastern Region 4-Hers. Mm-hmm. And so we knew each other from, like, you know, just regional events and stuff. And then Jana was from the Central Region. She lives, like, below Nashville. And she, we met her at state events, and she was on state council with us. So that's kind of how we met. And then freshman year, Jana and I roomed together at college. Do we need to share anything about pre-college days?
I don't think so. I just personally was super intimidated by Jana because she was always so smiley. Like, I had always just, like, seen her, and she was always, like, surrounded by, like, 5 or 6 people, and I was never one of those 5 or 6 people because I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm cool enough to talk to her. And the only reason I legitimately would have 4 or 5 words exchanged with Laura Grace is because I somewhat knew her from the Eastern region, but I definitely felt like out of my element. And so then when they were rooming together, I was like, man, I'm never going to get to be as cool with as them. Yeah, so I genuinely, going into freshman year, I was like, I really don't have any friends, because I didn't know anybody from my high school going, because I was the only one going. So that's when I was like, well, I guess I'm starting from scratch. But little did I know I spent every day with them freshman year. So
single day. Carragan, tell the podcast about what you thought about my campaign. So one of my last years at 4-H, I ran for vice president of state council. My campaign was Go Bananas, Vote for Jana.
yeah, yeah. The people that she had campaigning for her was probably not the best choice, just because, for me personally.
Wait, what did you say?
I said the people that you had campaigning for you probably weren't the best, because it was just like, Go Bananas, Vote for Jana, but it was like all up in your face everywhere, so I was like, I don't think so. And
so you didn't vote for her?
No, because she was from the Central region. I had no idea who she was.
Wait, who were you running against? We can bleep it out.
Leia.
Yeah.
So you voted for Leia?
Yeah, because she was Eastern and I knew her.
Yeah.
The truth comes out.
So Carragan didn't vote for her now roommate Jana. This just in.
Wait,
Just
I
in.
think, I have to include myself in this podcast.
Obviously.
Who was your campaign manager, Laura?
Whenever I ran for
Chief?
deputy chief?
No, this was the real deal.
No, you weren't there when I ran for president, were you?
Don't we vote for that?
Chief.
Chief.
Regional
Yeah,
chief.
regional chief.
When I ran
yeah.
for regional chief, Matt was my campaign manager. And of course, it was a success.
And you won because of me.
Yeah, it was a success.
So when they're talking about all this 4-H stuff, like, I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Mally's not excluded. We never want to
I was
exclude
there.
her ever.
Just
Just interject whenever you feel like a little lonely over there.
Thank you. Awesome.
So anyway, Carragan was in our room all the time, and I have 2 stories that I want to tell from freshman year that, honestly, there are, so many. Freshman year was so fun.
Because it was 2020.
Yes. So we went into college in 2020, and thankfully we were actually able to move in. We didn't know if that was going to happen until, right up until the day. We've talked about that on the podcast before. But, we basically just had to stay in our rooms all the time. And, be with our roommates. Carragan would just sneak in. We weren't supposed to have guests, but Carragan was there actually every single day. And, 2 things. One of which is we loved The Bachelor that season. What was the season? Who was it that season?
Is it Matt?
No.
I think it was Tasha and Claire. And
Claire.
then I think there was another one.
Okay, I know it was Claire because she kept saying, I'm just going to show up. I've already done the most important thing. I'm going to show up. And we made fun of her.
She was saying, I want someone to show up for me. And then when it was Dale, it was like, he showed up.
He literally
But,
just rolled up in the car.
Yeah,
That's all he did.
But for
every other
3
man
wasn't
there.
it super
On
small?
the ground.
Yeah, wasn't it a super small season
She
too?
had,
Didn't she
3
cut it off?
episodes.
She cut it, and then Tasha came in.
Yes.
Anyway, so that was going on, and we would, break the rules. We're such rule breakers, seriously. And we would all, pretty much our whole hall would, gather in the little common areas and watch The Bachelor together. And that was kind of the only semblance of normal college life that we got freshman year. And as I've mentioned, I lived in the dorm, me and Carragan both lived in the dorms first semester, and then we moved home second semester just because, still COVID. And so we weren't together as much that semester, but we still, did stuff.
My second semester, I was a silly girl and decided to take an in-person class because I'd never had one before. So I would come, and Jana still had the dorm, but no one roomed with them and took Laura Grace's spot. So I would come.
have a roommate for, I think, about a week. She was from Long Island, New York, and moved back home after a week. So that was an interesting experience. But then after that, I just had the dorm room to myself. So
Yeah, and so
I had
whenever
honestly forgotten all about that.
I didn't remember, I never met her, but I would always come and stay. Whenever I would come to Knoxville for my class, it was twice a week, but I would stay with Jana instead of going anywhere else because I'd be I basically get to live with Jana. So it was kind of fun. And we would do all the dorm things. We both celebrated our birthdays in Knoxville together, so that was kind of fun freshman year. And And yeah, I think that was kind of neat. But then the summer after freshman year, we didn't hang out as much.
So, two things. I never actually did tell my two things that I wanted to share. One of which is this. We were going on an adventure every night when we lived in the dorms almost. We would like go get Zaxby's or something. We would just like go somewhere. Because again,
Cookout milkshakes were like the thing.
okay, we probably had 250 cookout milkshakes a person freshman year. And it was just one semester. It was crazy. We actually had them multiple times a day. But I was driving in West Knoxville, and there is a Qdoba in the student center at UT. And that was the only place we'd ever seen a Qdoba. Who's the one who actually said it?
No, she said it, but I had seen one out in the real world.
Yeah. So we drive by like the Qdoba, and Jana goes, "Oh my gosh, a Qdoba in the wild!" And we thought that was so funny, and it's just like that was one of the first times I'd heard in the wild. So maybe I stole it from you, Jana, and now I have a podcast called Friends in the Wild.
You are a founder.
I'm the reason behind the podcast name, so
Yeah.
you picked me.
So I'm so glad. The other story I wanted to include was just absolutely a classic. We were going on an adventure to Zaxby's one night, and Carragan was ordering her food, and I said, "Carragan, what do you want to drink?" And she said to me, this is not funny, she said to me, "Grape water." And I, for some reason, thought that was the funniest thing I'd ever heard. I couldn't get it out of my mouth to say it to the person taking our order.
We sat there at the Zaxby's drive-thru window for probably like 5 minutes because you couldn't even get it out of your mouth.
You know how some...
And I was so frustrated because I was like, what's wrong? Because it was one of those drink machines that you literally like select the thing and then you can select the flavor. So I'd done it a million times. It's the same thing as saying like peach water or strawberry water. But she thought it was so funny and she started saying, "Grape water."
It's laughing so hard, so that's how it sounded. So we always say, "Grape water" now. But that was just one of those things that, like, you know how, like, when you're with your friends and it's, like, late at night and something happens and it's, like, not at all funny, but, like, it is for you guys? Yeah, that's how that was.
Yeah.
So anyway, anything else from freshman year? Can we move on?
Yeah, we can move on. We have a lot to get to.
Yeah. So then we moved into our apartment that we lived in for the remaining 3 years of college. We lived a couple, like 15 minutes away from campus, so it wasn't really like student apartments. Again, I've talked about this on the podcast, but yeah. And it was a blast from the very beginning. And from there, I think we just have like, we had like a bunch of Christmas parties. We always had guests. We had a lot of like things happen in our lives while we lived in that apartment. So,
Mally because this podcast is including Mally was actually one of those special guests that got to come and stay with us quite frequently.
Can you just
I
talk
would
about,
mention
like, the culture
Thank you so
of our
much for
apartment?
mentioning me. I was getting, so tired of keeping my mouth shut. I was an avid, frequent visitor of this apartment. One time, though, I hadn't been to your all's apartment in a while. I think it was just Carragan and Jana were home when I was coming to stay for clinicals. And I couldn't remember what floor y'all's apartment was on. So I knocked on the wrong door. Keep in mind that the people that lived below you all were an elderly couple.
Wait, did they open the door?
No, I ran. I was so
How did you
scared.
figure it out?
I think I told her. Because I think she called me or texted
I was
me.
like, "Hey, I'm at the door." She opened it. She's like, "No, you're not." I was like, "Oh."
Wait, I didn't know this story.
Unbelievably embarrassed. So I ran upstairs. And I never got it wrong after.
Elderly couple because they were Carragan's favorite elderly couple.
Carragan?
Every time that we would like loudly step on the floor at all, Carragan would say, "The elderly couple, the elderly couple."
Carragan was like their defender, okay?
Yeah.
Anything that happened, Carragan was like, "What about our downstairs neighbors?"
Because I have lived on the bottom floor of an apartment, and I hated always,
I can
hearing
resonate
a
with
thunderstorm. Yes, you lived on the first floor of something, so you understand where I'm coming from.
It was an apartment, guys.
Of a dump. Of a shack. Imagine. Talk about Wreck-It Ralph for a second.
Okay.
While we're on the
lived,
topic.
I lived in, it's a 2-story small apartment building. 1 bedroom, 1 person, it was just tiny. But upstairs there was a man. And this was every bit of a man. I'm not trying to, weight shame or anything, but he was a larger man. Okay? And first of all, any step he took, you could hear it. One night, I was in my bathroom. I could hear him pee in his toilet. I'm not even kidding. So he would, scream curse words in the middle of the night and wake you up. My mom can attest to
Do you
this.
think he would be, playing games? Or did he just, have Tourette's?
He was. No, he was playing video games. Because I could hear all of his conversations. He would cuss at them in the middle of the night, get up and walk around because, he's gaming at night, wake us all up.
Not like the big green giant. Fee-fi-fo-fum.
Yeah. So,
You literally called him Wreck-It Ralph. What
oh, yeah.
I
We
know.
called him, I didn't know his name until the very end. We called him Wreck-It Ralph.
What was his name, first and last?
I think it was Michael.
Don't say it. I was just kidding.
Oh.
So anyway, Mally has had her fair share of
Yes.
And I was just
upstairs
trying
neighbors.
to prevent us from being those people, from being Wreck-It Ralphs. But
Yeah.
yet, I was shamed for, Carragan, you're being overdramatic.
What's the female version of Ralph? Wreck-It
Rhonda?
Ron.
Wreck-It Rhonda. Stop.
Not the Wreck-It Rhondas.
So also something that we wanted to include in this episode was kind of like I almost just said the word dichotomy. Why was I going to say that word? That's like a fake word that no one actually uses. The contrast between us with 2 roommates and then Mally living by herself throughout college.
I just had to be included,
Yeah. Yeah, we were trying to brainstorm ways that we could talk about her, so we came up with that.
Awesome.
So,
I live in an apartment also. I had a bed too.
actually a dump.
I live in a
like
shack.
the SpongeBob thing.
What'd you say?
I said the SpongeBob thing.
Yes, that's exactly what I
At
was
the
going
same
to say.
What did you say?
I lost something once.
I lost something once.
We need to do that TikTok.
I know
Yes.
we do.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to be talking and then you go, I lost something. Okay, you guys just saw the brainstorming of a TikTok.
Also, I'm going to
Masterpiece.
brag on my Pookie, which also the real Pookie's pregnant. But
So we need to talk
my
about
Laura Grace Pookie, not pregnant,
Thank you for clarifying.
she has been popping the heck off on our TikTok and social media. It's finally time that she contributed something, but she's been doing really good. So everyone go like and follow.
Please
My
like
Pookie
my
steak.
reel or my TikToks and reels. I posted one today and it got 93 views and it has 3 likes. So I'm not sure if we're just completely unlikable or
It's called it's a slow burn. That's what it is.
okay. We just have to keep chugging along, keep grinding,
Yeah, influencers are not made overnight.
Absolutely.
Except for-
some are.
Except for the overnight.
Pookie.
Yeah,
Pookie.
good point. But you're not Pookie because you're not pregnant.
I'm so jealous of Pookie. Not because she's pregnant.
Hot take.
Um
Anyway, so let's get to the contrast.
yeah, so basically I don't know.
Also, well, there
What
was
are-
definitely a fear. You all had a team. So, if you had an intruder, you all could have designated jobs. You're the stabber, she's calling 911, Jana could hide, choose one survivor to tell the story.
Jana is sleeping.
Me, on the other hand,
Jana's sleeping through it all. Yeah.
me, on the other hand, I had to perform all 3 roles. Not only did I need to survive to tell the story, I needed to stab and call 911 all at the same time. And that was just too much.
You had to fight and flight all at once.
Exactly.
And how can one girl do
And
that?
I don't even know. But I did sleep with pepper spray beside my bed for the entire first semester.
As you should.
And I didn't get out past dark because I didn't know anyone, also.
We've talked about the Christmas lights.
Yeah,
never
how I
mind.
didn't even know the Christmas lights were up until my mom came to
Yeah.
stay with me. And then she told me that we should go see them. And I was like, oh, they're up? Literally,
Interesting.
December 15. Obviously
You've
they're up.
been there for months. Yeah, so I do feel like there was a level of security, and I feel like when I was there by myself, I would be a little more anxious about that. And also, I was just anxious at night. I'm always scared. As I've said before, I'll check a closet, there's no one in there, and then I'll go to bed and I'm like, there is someone in that closet. And having them there definitely made me sleep better, but sometimes I'll still get freaked out. And I told Carragan that, like, very late in our living together situation. And she was like, why don't you just wake me up and I'll sit up with you? And I was like, oh, that's actually so nice. So, but then I didn't get scared anymore. So,
Carragan, did you check for
Anyway.
the monsters under LG's bed?
You know, I would actually just, like, sit in the living room. You know, like, how dads will just, like, sit up and, like, wait and just, like, stare at the door ready for somebody to come in? That's what I would do. I would just...
you know what? I must have just known that in my subconscious, and that's why I didn't get scared.
And also, one thing that I would love to kind of plug is getting, like, a door stop, like a door stick. We had one of those because my dad was like, it'll help. And it really does, because we got in trouble a couple times because one of us would put up the door stick thinking that all of the roommates were in the house.
That were coming for the knot. Like
And
that someone
then
was
we
staying somewhere else.
wouldn't be, and so then we were having to call one of each other and be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, can you come move the stick?"
Yeah,
Because-
that happened more than once and more than twice.
Yeah.
And probably more than 3 times.
Happened a total 4.
No, like,
For those struggling to
more
count.
than, like, a normal amount.
Yeah. You'd think we would learn our lesson, but it continued.
I think it's just because we were in and out so much. Like, me and
Mhm.
Carragan was always so busy, you know, torchbearer. And she and I
Bearing
both...
torches.
She and I both did. She was shadowing oneself to shed light onto others. And, so, anyway, we were all just running around. Jana would always be going on livestock judging trips and get back late, so, you know, that was a common problem. But, other than that, I will say another thing that I imagine is different, definitely is our, like, late night chats, you know. We would come home, and if,
Yeah.
like, someone had a lot to debrief, we were sitting there until 4 a.m., even if we had to be up, you know, early the next day. And those are some of my fondest memories in our apartment, I would say. That was really fun.
Yeah.
As a Lone Ranger,
Are you jealous?
well, there's FaceTime. So I had my resources, you know.
There's space.
I definitely get that in person is more meaningful. Especially my entire first year, Laura Grace would not tell me anything important unless I was physically in the same room as her, which really caused a lot
I
of
don't remember that.
riffs, you know, because she forgets things so easily. So she would forget what she needed to tell me.
Why
Yes.
would I not tell you
She would
stuff?
say, I need to tell you in person. Okay, I get it, but like, we live 3 hours apart.
What was going on in my life?
Just
freshman year?
things. Yeah, just things.
Oh.
You're kidding.
Possibly happened freshman year.
You're literally kidding. You
But freshman year was unfortunately very eventful.
Freshman year.
But I will say I am a little jealous of that. That's something that I wish I did have, like, if I would have lived it.
The nights that we would stay up late talking, I would always think, like, around 9 or 10 o'clock, like, oh, like, I can get some stuff done tonight, I can go to bed on time, and then we'd all end up in the living room, and then we'd rehash something that we've talked about for 40 other times, and end up talking till 4 a.m.
Yeah. I definitely remember some nights being like, I could see this being one of those nights, but I literally have to do homework or something, you know, and I would have to just go lock myself in my room.
I will say there's an...
We all started with one of us or multiple of us having to do an assignment that was due at midnight, because we like to turn those in at approximately 11:58.
So we would just save our conversation until after we got our homework done. So we would all do our homework together,
Yep.
turn it in at the last possible second, and then we would say, like, okay, now here's the story.
So we
and that's
would
how we
have
would be up till 4
an
a.m.
incentive to get our
At
homework
least
done.
you were responsible.
Besides, you know, like,
Exactly right.
the grade, which, you know.
Grades don't define you.
Ourselves in timeout, so that way we could get our work done.
Jana would
Before
say
we
she
could
was
talk.
putting herself in timeout a lot. That was funny.
I have one other difference.
I've heard her say that, don't you think? Yeah. Anyway.
The other difference is I didn't have to clean up after people or worry about other people's
Yeah.
messes. Like, if I made a mess, it was mine to pick up. Like, no one else was there to do it. Except Colin spent so much time at my apartment and wrecked it all the time. So,
Wreck-It Ralph 2.0.
literally, Wreck-It Ralph in my home.
Yeah.
It was, so cleaning up after him wasn't the best.
Wreck-It Ralph that had a key.
Yeah, unfortunately. Sometimes he would, like, do my dishes, though, on a whim.
Oh.
And then I remember one time, oh my gosh. So I had a really small trash can. So when it got full, I'd hang it on my door to keep filling it up, you know, don't
Yeah.
want to be wasteful.
Mhm.
Instead of putting the box inside the bag, he sat it on top, which takes more effort to balance this box on top of the trash bag hanging on the door instead of just putting it in the trash bag.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, I just had to get that off my chest.
Thank you for sharing. I think that's a very relatable comment.
But cleaning up after myself wasn't hard. I didn't have to worry about other people's messes. I'm actually just trying to get some drama started, so...
Yeah, I will say, I think we all had our strengths. So, like,
Is this a compliment sandwich we're getting?
I was not a dishes girl. I personally hate dishes. Laura Grace and Jana, I don't think you guys hated dishes as much.
Jana must have done all the dishes because I don't feel like I did any. So if you weren't doing them and I wasn't doing them, Jana was doing the dishes.
Yeah, no, I do want to formally apologize to my roommate Jana because I hate dishes. I hate soggy food.
I also don't feel like I dirtied up that many dishes. I didn't eat there very much.
No.
She's so skinny. She didn't eat much.
No, I just got fast
Like, where
food
is her
every
waist?
day. That's why I have no money.
Great, that's why you're indebted to me now.
But really, Jana, comment on the dishes.
I don't have a comment.
Did you do them, yes or no?
Yes, I did do dishes.
Do you hate them, yes or no?
No, I don't hate them. I like the feeling of having the sink empty and the dishwasher going. It's like satisfying.
You know, I love, it's almost like white noise at night for me. I love the dishwasher
I'm
on
glad
night.
you guys can relate about that.
Except our dishwasher sounded like a hurricane. It wasn't like white ocean noise. It was a hurricane. It was, no. I mean, it was so obnoxiously loud.
For me, it was peaceful.
The one who did it?
For Jana, it was white noise.
Because her dishes were done, she was at peace.
Well, it also might have been white noise for Jana because Jana literally will sleep through anything.
We need to share on this.
Anything.
We need to share on the stories the video of Jana of the alarm blaring
Oh my
and,
god.
and Jana sleeping soundly right next to
I mean,
me.
I'm across the apartment. The entire apartment. I'm across the kitchen. The living room is between us, everything. And I wake up to a blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, where's that coming from? I think it's the apartment next to us who, I share a wall with. I get up, walk over, and it's Jana just snoozing. And I was like, this is kind of
My
impressive.
alarm. So I had two different alarms. I had an alarm on my phone that goes off, and I have to like do some kind of task to get it to go off, like a matching game, multiplication tables. I have to shake it 30 times, and then I have another alarm that's for the deaf and hearing impaired. And it has like a thing that comes off of it that would go under my pillow and like vibrate my pillow. And so somehow between all three of those things going off, I would miraculously wake up. So,
No, you need to go to a sleep clinic. I fear something's wrong.
She's a nurse.
probably, honestly.
Nursing diagnosis right here. It's gonna be like sleep comatose.
Yeah, that's me.
Obviously. It sounded so official.
So, Mally, at least you didn't have to be woken up by somebody else's alarm.
When I would say the night, I would hear her alarms.
Oh, but also I will say I kind of accidentally got her back because I have one of those sunrise alarms, and I would always forget whenever I wasn't there. I'd always forget to turn it off, and every single time I would be home, Jane would text me, "Can you turn your alarm off? Can you turn your alarm off?" And then eventually she just started unplugging it. So I'm glad that we figured that out.
Laura Grace also has a bad tendency to let her alarms run and run and run. And
Everyone
run.
who has had a sleepover with me knows that. Like when I was little.
Immediately regretted it. I figured.
Yeah. Like, why did we invite her? Seriously.
Okay, so we need to get into some.
Yeah.
The girls have sent me some questions, so I'm going to ask them like who most likely questions.
Yeah, we're gonna play like the little game. Remember when it was a TikTok trend? You would say, "Who's most likely to whatever," and you like point at someone. We're just gonna.
Are we gonna close our eyes, or are we just gonna
can just decide?
I
Okay.
think you need to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe on the count of 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Okay. Most likely to sleep on the couch.
1, 2, 3.
Laura.
Laura Grace.
Yeah.
The lag. Okay. Most likely to fall asleep during a movie.
Wait, let's not do the 1, 2, 3. I think that's a bad idea.
It's most definitely you. as
Carragan,
well.
give your answer.
It's Laura Grace.
Jana.
I would say it's between me and you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also agree with that.
I did a as well.
Something about Carragan is she's not falling asleep during a movie.
No, but the reason I submitted this question was because you would always come to me and, like, Jana would be responsible out of the three of us and say, okay, guys, I'm going to bed because I have to wake up early.
Yeah.
Laura Grace would look at me and go, Carragan, do you want to watch a movie?
It was
Knowing the movie buff that I am,
It
I would
was-
say yes.
always my idea to watch the movies.
And then she would fall asleep, and then here I am at 3:30, and I'm turning the TV off so she can sleep on the couch.
I would fall asleep in the first 20 minutes too.
Yeah.
Like there's no shot. I don't know. I just love to fall asleep in movies.
One example, 27 Dresses. That was...
And that was recent. Okay. Next.
Couch too. It just like it pulled you in.
It did.
It did.
Seriously. Jana's Sunday afternoon naps. We would come home from like whatever.
Down. I would come home from church. I would sit down and be like, okay, I have so much work I need to do. I can sit down, hammer it all out, and then I'd be like, okay, I can take a nap for like 10 minutes. No, I'm napping for like 2-3 hours.
Girls' couch that's where I sleep most of the time. Not really sure why I didn't just sleep with. I think
You
I
did
slept
a couple
with you
times,
once,
and then like I guess.
Well,
I
you also were
started
waking up
something.
super early.
oh yeah, I
I think
had
that's
plentiful
true,
and stuff.
yeah.
I had places to be. But yeah, their couch, love that.
We're trying to get Carragan to give it to us for the podcast because it's pink and blue.
Well, so they were from my grandparents' house, but whenever we were moving in, my grandparents were moving out of their house. And so I just kind of like did a little switcheroo and was like, hey, would you like to donate to college kids? And they said, absolutely. So then we got couch covers, and because the pink and blue plaid didn't really go with our apartment.
with the other.
it
so
was
we
like
just
fab in here.
It would.
It would.
Just
It
saying.
would. It might be too long.
Oh, most definitely. It's
No,
too
the
long here,
small
but there's a
one.
smaller one too. It's a 2-set.
Oh yeah, I'm so dumb.
Love seat.
We had a love seat. Okay.
Next, most likely to be the last one ready.
Let Jana go first on this
Jana,
one.
go.
Laura Grace.
It is going to be either me or you every time, but I'm going you.
I'm going to plead the fifth on this, and I'm also going to go with both of them, just because I think more recently it's been Jana. Like when we went on our cruise, it was Jana. But like I remember, like whenever we go to concerts and stuff,
It would be
I think
me.
Laura Grace, because
Yeah.
Jana wants to get there like 45 minutes early to go park and everything.
Right.
Laura Grace is like, we'll just walk in when we walk in. So
I'm like,
late.
yeah, I'm like, we can skip. I don't want to see the opener.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So it just kind of
Absolutely.
depends on the event, is what
Yeah.
I'm gonna do with my answer.
But the answer is not Carragan. She's gonna be ready first.
Okay. Most likely to spontaneously clean the apartment.
I think Jana.
I was gonna say you.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, remember when I had the hair cleaner?
I was already thinking of it. You sent me a video.
Yes.
Bought it for this couch.
Well, it's Jana's. I scraped our entire living room with like a half a foot hair comb, like cat hair comb. I guess it might be me. Who do you say, Jana?
Probably me or you.
Yeah,
Obviously not me.
you're busy. You're busier than us.
Okay.
Same. Oh my gosh.
Most likely to laugh out loud for the whole apartment building to hear.
This is easy. Can you tell? It's Jana.
It's Jana Owen.
Me.
It's Jana, and she was like this in the dorm too. I would be like kinda trying to do homework. Okay, it was never that serious. I was never actually doing homework. But she would just be cackling in her bed, like laughing so loud. It was so funny. Anyway.
And then
I would always think they're not going to think this is funny, but I know they're like probably wondering what it is. You know, when somebody's laughing, you're like, you want to know what it's
Yeah.
funny. But like, I never knew if I wanted to tell them because they're never going to laugh.
yeah, no,
I would laugh sometimes.
Jana has what we called an acquired sense of humor.
Yeah, Jana has like I'm trying to think of something that's like weird that I can give as an example. Jana, how would you describe your sense of humor? Perfect.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good word.
It's like, do you think Skibbity Toilet is funny?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, well, I'm going to send it to you later and we'll
Okay, we'll decide.
okay, what's
But there would just be some TikToks where she would like die out laughing, and then Laura Grace and I would just look at over each other in the couch and we'd be like, It was just
I
another
would
one.
kind of be
And
a
then we-
bridge sometimes. Like, sometimes I think Jana's stuff is funny, but then sometimes I don't. Like, for example, it's because my nose is broken, but I hate 0.5 pictures of myself. And Jana loves to take 0.5 photos. Okay. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, no. But we weren't, I mean, like, in defense of us, we're not like terrible roommates. We wouldn't be like, Jana, that's not funny. We would just kind of be like, I mean, at the beginning of our friendship, we were like, oh, that's great. And then we would look at each other and be like, did you think that was funny? But then when we started living with each other, after year 3, we were like, Jan, come on. I don't know about that one. So,
We're just like,
And I'm like crying.
yeah, actually.
she's
yeah.
rolling on the floor.
Okay.
Okay. Most likely to remind everyone about the downstairs neighbors.
We've covered it.
Yeah, I submitted that myself because I wanted you guys to own up to the fact that you guys were Wreck-It Ralphs yourself. So,
All right. Most likely to set the fire alarm off.
Is it Jana?
I feel like I did it a lot, but also I submitted this because I thought about Carragan's popcorn.
oh no.
I forgot about Carragan's popcorn.
Okay, so I tried to homemade popcorn like in a big.
When was that? What were we doing?
We were with Julianne. Julianne was one of our sleepers that would
Yeah.
come stay with us,
Yeah.
and so
We're sleepers.
we were wanting.
It's like it's a hotel.
It really was because for clinical people, I mean, you guys that were coming
Yeah,
in,
we had a lot of people coming for clinicals, yeah.
we were giving back to college kids. Anyway, I was trying to homemade her popcorn because we were doing one of our powwows that we did, and we were like, oh my gosh, popcorn sounds so good. Well, I didn't put enough oil in the bottom of the pan, and so the oil just was kind of absorbed, and I also didn't read the directions, so that probably would have helped. But all of a sudden, Julianne is like, Carragan? And I look over, like, smoke is pouring out of the side of the pot with the lid on it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, so I'm like, run outside with this big old pot, and it's like hot because it's just on the stove, and so I'm having to like walk down the 3 flights of stairs, and I'm just like shucking these burnt charred kernels into these bushes, so the apartment complex won't be like, send a passive aggressive email about like some burnt kernels in the parking lot.
Our apartment complex loves to send passive aggressive emails, so
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
funny.
Our fire alarm, or smoke alarm, I guess, was so complicated because I feel like we didn't really burn much, but if you had the oven over 400 and opened the door, it would immediately go off.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Okay, a little rapid fire. Who's the
related to that, we need to mention briefly, I know we're probably going long, but we need to mention the dishwasher that overflowed.
Who did it?
I did. So let's just hate on Carragan for a second. Number one, we ran out of like the pods that you put in the dishwasher because I don't know how. I guess we were just Jana was doing all of our dishes. So we ran out, and so we were in need of something, like, we need to do it. And I was like, okay, well, before we go, like, let's start the dishwasher. So while Jana's finishing getting ready, because I'm already ready, I'm like looking in the bottom of our sink, and there's nothing, and I was like, well,
I thought it was at night.
it is, yeah. And so we were like leaving to go somewhere. And so I put Dawn dish detergent in the dishwasher because I thought that was an equivalent of like what a Tide or what a little pod would do, would just open to be not Tide Pod, whatever the dish version of that is. So I put Dawn dish detergent in there, closed it, started it. Jana was about to walk out the door, and then she goes, Carragan, and there is soap suds pouring out of our dishwasher.
Yeah.
So it was a disaster, so we had to grab a bunch of towels, and then we left because we had to go to wherever we were going. So
Yeah.
Okay. Rapid fire. Who's the cleanest?
Carragan? Jana?
I was going to say Jana had the cleanest room.
Yeah, Jana's room stayed the cleanest.
Who's the messiest?
Probably me.
I would say Laura.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
Who's the early bird?
Carragan.
Carragan.
Yeah, I mean.
Who's the night out?
Ooh.
Me or Laura Grace?
We
Yeah.
would both be up.
Yeah, I would give y'all a run for your money, but because I had to be up early,
Yeah.
I would go to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's the end of my questions.
Yay! Mallie, do you feel like you've said enough words, or do you just want to talk for a while?
No.
Just like monologue.
You know, I've had my moment in the spotlight recently, so
I
I'll
hate
let you
to-
shine.
I hate
was
to
gonna say,
What was the spotlight about?
Marine.
Oh.
I hate to take the attention away from you when you have a boyfriend that you're planning to marry.
Yeah.
That's how I
Must be really nice
that's
for
his
you.
identity now. A boyfriend I'm planning on marrying.
Because we don't like the F word.
Yeah.
I literally can't use the F word.
Yeah. No,
It's just too much.
it's derogatory.
It's
honestly.
literally like, this is a family-friendly podcast, and if I use the F word, we'll have to put it as explicit
And
content.
we can't. We're only 22.
Only.
We're only 22-year-old teenage girls.
Teenage.
22
teenage
We're
girls.
tweens. But anyway, we are just having such a great time on this episode of the podcast. We had such a great time in our apartment. We had so many Christmas parties, which we didn't even get to talk about. So many situationships and breakups and, like,
Girlhood.
yeah.
It's got the good, the bad,
We
the
lived
ugly.
there from, like, pretty much 19 to 22, and that's a pivotal part of your life, and I'm so glad that I got to do it with these two girls.
Me as well. And now I will be living with 3 other girls, and they're random. I don't know who they are, but I'm paying cheap rent, so that's what I'm sacrificing to save money. So I'm sure we'll have some great stories coming up soon.
And Mallie's about to live with her
boyfriend that I plan on marrying.
boyfriend once she marries him, yeah, of course.
Later.
We can
say
very much
that-
later.
We can say that word though, right? The H word.
Husband?
I don't know about that.
That's scary. That's
Yeah,
really
That's
scary.
really.
Today I started sweating thinking about it, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyway, Jana is meeting with us virtually, as we've said. Carragan is here in person, and we've been having such a grand old Rogersville time. Do you feel like it's been, like, fully immersion in Rogersville?
I think I've like been here. I think this is like my second hand amount of times that I've come to Rogersville, so I think I'm like
Yeah.
starting to know where everything is.
Yeah.
Which,
Downtown's literally a mile long, so it doesn't take much.
you know, I feel very included. Like I no longer feel like a lost puppy, like attached to Largo's hip anymore. I feel like I could just go rogue
You're
and be
local.
like, yeah, I've basically lived here my entire
You
life.
eat where the locals eat. You hang out where the locals hang out. They're all the same as the tourists because there's only a couple places. But yeah, I'm glad that you
We're
figured that out.
happy to have you.
Thank you.
We
I appreciate the hospitality,
Yeah,
like Owen Hall did to us balls.
yeah.
Okay, guys. Are y'all's hearts and minds clear?
I think so.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Well, we hope that you all enjoyed this week's episode. I sure did. It's always fun to have some guests on.
Me too.
Yeah, and I hope you guys all, if you ever have the chance to live with people, I would always encourage it just because of the memories, whether they're good or bad. You're making memories every day.
And
So
you know what? We learned so much from being in that apartment, and even if we didn't like each other, we still would have learned a lot, you know?
Mhm.
For sure.
I learned
Good
nothing,
thing
apparently.
We did.
Good thing we did
Dumber
like each
than
other.
a rock, because I live by myself.
I technically feel like you somewhat lived. I mean, you visited us more than one hand of times, so we could technically consider you a roommate, just like we did Julianne whenever Julianne would come.
And also, you were kind of like in the books.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. I was so studious.
Yeah.
So,
So,
I was really busy.
academic weapon.
Yeah.
If you're an academic weapon, you probably shouldn't live with people.
Right.
So,
So, hop off to the academic weapons, my fellow academy weebies.
literally.
You just created a new name for people.
That was like,
Sorry.
what was
I
it?
just felt weird.
Your hair was like repelling.
Her hair got really staticky, so I started rubbing her back, and it just felt way too
Just went,
intense.
"Ah."
Okay,
So it scared me.
we gotta log off at this episode.
Logging off.
Now
Thank you
sign us
guys
off.
for
Okay.
letting me join. This has
You're
been so fun.
Say bye, Jana.
Thank y'all. Hopefully, we will be invited back to talk about a special trip.
Yeah. So we do have another thing to talk about in the future. So be looking forward to Jana and Carragan Part 2.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Bye, friends in the wild.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. We'll see you next week with something equally as great.
Bye! Love ya!
Love ya.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Off.
Good job, guys. Really? I swore we were